Hello, my dear friends. I am once again back with one more novel of Thomas Hardy, that is Two on a Tower. My dear friend, this novel of Thomas Hardy can be considered a perfect novel that is based on the theme of love, theme of science, and theme of astronomy. This novel Thomas Hardy wrote in the year, remember, 1882. This novel is one among the minor novels of Thomas Hardy. This novel is not as or so important as his The Mayor of Casterbridge, like Far from the Madding Crowd, so on and so forth. But my dear friends, anything can be important from competition point of view, because we never know what is going to pop up in the competitive examination. So from the competition point of view, this novel becomes important. So let's look at some important facts related to this novel, and also let's look at the summary of this novel and try to bear in mind the characters of this novel. Two on a Tower, a Romance. This is the title of this novel. My bad. Written in the year 1882, is a novel classified by Hardy as romance and fantasy. See, Hardy classified his novels and he put this novel under the head romance and fantasy, because I told you this novel is a very good example of a love story novel, a novel that is based on love story, you can say that. It is Hardy's minor Wessex novel. Remember that this is minor Wessex. Setting of the novel is again in his fictional town, that is Wessex, set in late Victorian Dorset. Remember this. The setting of the novel is the late Victorian time in Dorset. The novel begins with an epigraph, an introduction, taken from Richard Crawshaw poem Love's Horoscope. Remember that. Unlike other novels of Thomas Hardy, this novel of Thomas Hardy begins with an epigraph. An epigraph, something that is used as introduction, is called epigraph. Like you must have noticed T.S. Eliot's poems, like T.S. Eliot's The Love Song of J. Alfred Prufrock begins with an epigraph taken from Dante's Divina Commedia. In the same manner, his magnum opus, The Wasteland, also begins with an epigraph, and almost all his important poems begin with an epigraph taken from some other great renowned author or writer. In the same manner, this novel of Thomas Hardy begins with an epigraph, and this epigraph he took from Richard Crawshaw poem titled Love's Horoscope. And which is the line that this novel begins with as an epigraph? Ah, my heart, her eyes. This is the line. This is the first line of the epigraph from Crawshaw poem Love Horoscope. novel begins. Why? Because I told you this novel is based on the theme of love. Purely. No any other novel of Thomas Hardy is based on the theme of love in such a solid manner just as this novel. Now let's look at the plot structure. 20-year-old Sweden sent Cleve. Remember this. Sweden sent Cleve. He is the central character of the novel. He is the protagonist. He is the male protagonist of the novel. Lives with his elderly grandmom and his dreams of becoming a famous astronomer. So he is a young man who has a great dream of becoming one of the greatest astronomer of the world. You can better understand this was the time when England was exploring and growing very rapidly as a powerful nation. That is somehow, this novel gives a peep of that one. So the central character, the male character, or you can say the man, just a character, male character of this novel, main character of this novel, pardon my dear friends, just is Sweden St. Cleve, and this character lives with his grandmother. Remember this, not mother, grandmother. And he has a great dream of becoming the greatest astronomer. And that's why he has created an observatory. He has created an observatory on a tower, and this tower belongs to the central woman character of this novel, that is none other than Vivid Constantine. This is the name, Vivid Constantine. She is the central, just a woman character of this novel. She is the heroine of this novel. So see this, 20-year-old Sweden St. Cleve lives with his elderly grandmom and his dreams of becoming a famous astronomer. He has created an observatory in an old tower. Remember this, old tower owned by Lady Vivid Constantine and her husband, away in Africa. So this young man of 20, Sweden, lives with his grandmother and with his dream. All the time, day and night, he has one dream of becoming one of the greatest astronomer of the world. And it's all because of that. In order to get his goal, in order to get his objective, he has created an observatory on the top of a tower. And this tower is located on the land owned by the central woman character of this novel, that is Vivid Constantine, who is a married woman, but not happily married woman. Remember that. Her husband is not with her. He's away in South Africa. She is not in a happy marriage. Marriage has become a kind of a bondage, a burden for her, and somehow she wants to get rid of this burden and bondage. But somehow that narrow-minded, just a Victorian society did not allow her. Here, Through this novel, Thomas Hardy also attacks the narrow-mindedness of the Victorians. See this further. When they come closer, one day they meet. Who? The Swithin and Vivid Constantine, they meet, and after meeting, they start coming closer. When they come closer, she is struck by his beauty and his passion for his work. And when this woman gets closer, just remember, this woman is 10 years senior to this young man. It means she is 30 years old and this young man is 20 years old. So since he has created an observatory on the top of a tower, one day they meet. It's a kind of a casual meeting, but very soon this casual meeting somehow becomes a very special kind of just a meeting. They start getting closer and closer. The more she gets closer to him, she realizes, she is struck by his beauty, by his you can say passion, by his passion for his own work. He has a great passion for his own work, and very soon this this young woman realizes that she is in love with this young man, but she knows that it is almost next to impossible for her to express her love and settle down with this young man. Why? Because first of all, she's 10 years senior to him. Second, he's married. Third, her standing in the society is absolutely different in comparison with the standing of this young man. So let's continue further. He introduces her to the world of stars. So since he aspires to be astronomer, so most of the time, particularly, he spends most of the night time gazing these stars. So he also allows this woman to gaze the stars in the night in his observatory. And here, through this one, just Hari has explored a lot and shows his passion and love for the science and astronomy. He introduces her to the world of stars. She realizes that she is in his love. They spend time together, but she knows that the society disapproves their relation, for she is 10 years senior to him and married and belongs to different social clan that I told you. That very soon she falls in love with this young man 10 years junior to her and belonging to absolutely different class, and above all married. She's married one. Even after getting the news of the death of her husband in Africa, she knows that the barriers of age and class still stand in their way. But a time comes, this young woman receives the sad news of the death of her husband there in Africa. Now, these young just lovebirds are free to settle down. They are free now to marry and settle down, but she knows that still there are hurdles in her way. What? First, her age. Second, her social standing. Third, her marital state. Since they are star-crossed lovers, who are called star-crossed lovers, those lovers who fail to unite, who fail to settle down, comfortably, happily, and marry. Such stars are called star-crossed lovers, like Romeo and Juliet, Heer and Ranjha, and so many other, you can say this, lovers who somehow fail to settle down comfortably. Why? Because even their fate, their fortune did not help them, and their fate and fortune also against them. So they are also, the Sweden and Vivid Constantine are also star-crossed lovers. They have all the ways to settle down, but because of this, because of that, because of the age, because of the social standing, and because of the marital state, they are not able to unite. See, since they are star-crossed lovers, the discovery of a legacy forces them apart. This novel of Hardy shows complete treatment of theme of love and his fascination with science and astronomy. So hope, my dear friends, this summary of mine of this novel will definitely help you understand this minor but very important novel of Thomas Hardy. That's it in this video, my dear learners, and very much thanks to you for watching.